Give me the qualifications you're looking for a vice presidential running mate.
Well, you always have to say the same boring answer that probably everybody has given to you from day one. They have to be a great president, potentially have to be a great president. So that's always the number one.
But that is the most important fact.
Well, it's always,
you need somebody potentially, God forbid, if the
look,
president...
They're there for that reason primarily. But I would want somebody that would help me from a legislative standpoint, getting things passed through Senate, through Congress. And to me, that's why I think probably in terms of vice president, I'm going to go the political route. I don't need the business route. I've got that covered.
I mean, somebody who's been a governor or a senator?
Somebody that, well, somebody maybe that's been even a senator. I mean, I like that because they're dealing, look, we want to get legislation passed. We are at total gridlock in Washington. We can't even take the trillions of dollars that we have overseas back for our companies.
I know you're not going to give me a name because you have.
I can't give you a name.
You're going to start vetting people pretty soon, right?
I'm starting to think about it very soon, and we'll be vetting people.
You think some of your former Republican presidential rivals will be on that vetting list?
Could be. I mean, I have a lot of respect.
Even people who have said nasty things about you?
Well, you know, I feel differently about that. When somebody says nasty, I never like them quite the same. But I will tell you, you look at somebody. You know, I'm going to set up a committee, and I may put Ben Carson on the committee. I may put Chris Christie on the committee. They came out early. They were very strong. They're very good people. Very good people.
These are people who would vet.
For vetting, yeah, we're going to set up a committee in terms of vice president. We're going to set up a committee in terms of other positions also.
Hillary Clinton says she's released all of her tax returns. You haven't. Are you going to do that?
I will. I really look forward to doing it, but I'm under audit. When you're under audit, you just don't do it. Any lawyer.
Under order from who?
From the government.
They're auditing somebody, but
yeah,
what about tax returns that have already been audited?
I go back a long time because they're called linking returns. They link. So when I'm under audit, I don't want to do it. Now, I hope to be able to do it.
So once the audit ends,
by the way, and I'll tell you what's very unfair.
Yeah.
I have been audited every year for many years, beyond Obama.
Well, you make a lot of money.
I do make a lot of money, but I'm audited every year. I have friends that make a lot of money that have never been audited. I say to friends of mine, how often are you audited? Very wealthy people.
So you think this is political, that they're aiming at you?
I would say yeah. I mean, I would say yeah.
The IRS is doing this?
I don't know. I can't tell you, but I am audited every single year. I have friends that are very wealthy people. When I talk about audit, they don't even know what I'm talking about. So I'm almost used to it, almost like a normal thing, but so many people never get audited, and I'm audited every year. So while I'm under audit, I'm not going to release my tax returns. No lawyer would let you do that. I mean, it's routine audit stuff, but no lawyer would let you do that.
Let's talk about women voters out there. If you're going to be the president of the United States, you're going to need to do really well with women voters in a general election, let's say against Hillary Clinton. There's a new CNN poll that's out, shows 61% of female voters nationwide, Republicans, Democrats, independents, they say they back Hillary Clinton. Only 35% of women nationally say they back you. How are you going to change that?
I think we'll get it changed. I think it'll change. I think it'll change rapidly because women want security. Women want strong military. They want to know that they're secure in our nation. Women want women's health issues taken care of. And Hillary is not going to do it like me, because I'm going to make our country rich again. I'm going to bring back our jobs. We're going to have a good economy again, which we don't now. We have a horrible economy right now. And again, remember this, NAFTA has been a total disaster for our country. NAFTA was signed by the Clinton administration. What NAFTA has done to this country, and I've gone through it, I won New York big. And by the way, speaking of winning New York big, if you look at the polls, the exit polls, I was #1 with women by a long shot. Nobody was even close to me. So I won New York, I won Pennsylvania, I won Maryland, I won Connecticut, Delaware, Rhode Island, all of these, and Indiana the other night. If you look at the polls, #1 with women, and it's not even close.
Let's talk about a general election, electoral college strategy, getting to 270 electoral college votes. John McCain couldn't do it, as you well know. Mitt Romney couldn't do it. How are you going to do it? What states are you going to put in play that they couldn't put in play?
That's a question I love, because it's something I think that I am better served than anybody. First of all, you see how well I did in New York. Do you agree I did very well in New York?
But that's with Republicans in New York.
It doesn't matter.
There's a lot of Democrats, as you well know.
You're right.
I think you've won basically almost every county in the recent elections, except, by the way, your own personal home county here in Manhattan.
Which, by the way, is now under review, and they think I won that too.
Really?
Yes. It's called Manhattan. But I won every single county in New York, but I won every county in Pennsylvania, every county in Maryland. I won every county in the 5 states plus New York, which is a pretty good run. And I hear I won every county in Indiana, last
Because in
night,
New
too.
York State, I'm from Buffalo, upstate. You'll do well up there.
Yeah. I did well.
But in the city, New York
I
City,
did
a
very
lot
well.
of Democrats.
No, I did very well. It was like a 50-50 deal. And I
Among
think it's going
Republicans.
over.
Among Republicans.
Among Republicans,
Right.
yeah. But I had a
But you're
massive
not suggesting
victory.
you think
was
New York would be in play.
Oh, I'm suggesting New York.
You
For
believe
me,
that? I know you've suggested
don't.
Michigan and
I
Pennsylvania.
will win upstate New York by massive numbers. I'll win out on Long Island by massive numbers. I'll win all of the sections that are horribly affected by NAFTA, a Hilton deal, a Clinton deal. I will win sections of this city that nobody else could win. Yes, I think New York is in play. And by the way, if New York is in play and if I won New York, then I win the election. You understand that because of the size. I'll win Michigan. Michigan is not going to be even contested by any other Republican. They wouldn't even go there. I'll win Michigan because of what's happened. They've sucked all the jobs out of Michigan too. And I'm constantly talking about Michigan with the cars and what's happening. I think I'll win Pennsylvania. I'm sure I'm going to win Pennsylvania. I'll win Florida, which you have to win. I think I'm going to do very well, but I will put states in play that no other Republican will even talk about or go to.
Do you think the general election campaign has already started, you versus Hillary Clinton, that for all practical purposes, Bernie Sanders is out?
Well, I think what has happened, there's been a little flip, and I'm even surprised by it. I thought that I'd be going longer and she'd be going shorter. She can't put it away. That's like a football team. They can't get the ball over the line. I put it away. She can't put it away. So I thought that I'd be out there and she'd be campaigning against me. I didn't realize. So yeah, I'll be campaigning against her while she's campaigning
So the
against us.
general election campaign, from your perspective, starts today?
Essentially, it started. I mean, it started today. It started actually 3 months ago when I hit her pretty hard and she went down
And
in
your
the polls.
tone, supposedly more presidential, or will you really go after her?
Well, look, I went to the best school. I'm a smart person. I did well. I am who I am. I don't like to change. I don't like to really change. Sort of interesting. There was a little talk about, will he be presidential? We had 17 people, all smart, one by one, week after week, boom, 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 gone, gone, gone. I don't maybe want to change so much. And I do want to use that same strategy for trade deals. And I want to use that same, but I feel I'm a presidential person.
Is the same strategy that you used to get rid of the other Republican candidates you want to use now against Hillary Clinton?
I would say yes. I mean, and again, a lot's going to depend on how they treat me. I mean, if they treat me in a certain level, I'm not looking to do more. You've seen I'm a counterpuncher more than anything else. I don't really like hitting people first because I don't know how. I've always felt that I'm better, like certain boxers, they're better counterpunchers. I've been very successful. I've only been doing it for 10 months, Wolf. Somebody in your world gave me credit the other day. They said, he has really been effective. We've never seen anything like it ever before. And then somebody else said, and he's only been doing it for 10 months. These people have been in politics for 35 years.
It's very impressive that you came out of no political background for all practical purposes, and now you're the Republican presidential nominee.
Well, but I always have been very heavily involved in politics. So I haven't been elected, and it has never been my thing, frankly, and I wouldn't have done it this time. I would have been very happy to stay where I was doing. I have a great family, a great company, a really great company, and I love doing it. But when I see the mistakes and the stupidity of what they're doing with our country, the Iran deal, the trade deals, everything is so bad. A military that can't beat ISIS. When I see what's going on, I said, I have to do this.
One final question, because we're out of time. It's not going to be a contested convention in Cleveland, as you now know. You're the presumptive Republican nominee. You say you want to bring a little bit more showbiz or pizzazz to that convention. What are you talking about?
Well, I'd like to. I was, seeing the other one. The last convention was the lowest rated convention, I think, in the history of conventions. It was not an exciting convention, and it turned out to be a race that should have been won and it wasn't won. I would like to add something that would be, that would make people happy. We have to promote our country. Our country, we have to be cheerleaders to a certain extent. Our country is very depressed. People are fighting each other, whether it's black and white, rich and poor. I mean, everybody's fighting. President Obama has not done a good job in terms of promoting our country, in terms of being a cheerleader. And I want to do something that's good, that's going to make people feel good about the country. It's really not about the party.
So what are you going to do at the
what
what do you want to do at the
convention?
convention?
Well, we'll be looking at certain things. I mean, we'll be looking at certain things. I actually recommended things the last time They didn't do them, and they should have, because it was a very boring convention. But much more important than exciting, we want to have good ideas, because ultimately it's the ideas that are going to matter. We're going to make great trade deals. We're going to build up our military. We're going to take care of our vets. We're going to do lots of good things with education, because right now our educational process is a disaster. We're going to strengthen our borders. Obamacare is going to be repealed and replaced with something much less expensive that works much better. I mean, there's so many things we can do. That ultimately is, to me, more exciting than making the event exciting.
And right after the convention, you know, there'll be 3 presidential debates. Let's say you against Hillary Clinton, or Bernie Sanders for that matter. 1 vice presidential debate. You're going to have to start gearing up for those debates.
Well, I'm ready. I mean, one of the things that was interesting that I was never sure of, you know, when I heard about debates, I've never debated professionally before, and every single poll, Drudge, who's a great guy, they all have polls. Time Magazine, they all have these polls. I think there's like on average 7 of them, and they're online polls that take place right after the debate. I've won every single poll of every single debate. So I feel good about my debating skills, and again, you know, was something I said, I've never done this before, stand there and answer formal questions. And
Hillary Clinton's a pretty good debater.
I think she is. I've watched her. I think she is. I really do. And I think Bernie's a good debater also.
You'll be ready.
I'll be ready.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you very much.